Welcome to the Year 10 STEM Summer Project, Question 2. This project is all about potable water. You need to understand that potable water is water that is safe to drink. In many countries, water is taken from lakes, reservoirs, aquifers, and rivers. This water often contains sand, gravel, other solid materials, and infectious microbes which must be removed to make the water potable. Now, I imagine you all know what lakes, reservoirs, and rivers are, but you might not know what an aquifer is. Aquifers are water that's stored underground in rocks. So this project is all about thinking about where we get water from, why can't we just drink it straight away, and what do we do to it to make it safe to drink. So we're going to spend a little bit of time looking at the background to those questions, and then we'll move on to look at your task, which is to design, demonstrate, and evaluate a method for purifying water so that it is safe to drink. So we're going to give you some hints and tips on both parts of this question. Remember that throughout this project you will be graded on creativity, content, and effort. It might surprise you to know that 2.2 billion people across the world do not have continuous access to safe drinking water. This is a problem that we can't just solve because the demand for water is constantly changing as a result of climate change, changes to lifestyles that mean our demand for water patterns are changing, and due to growing populations. So this is something that we constantly need to find new solutions for. Most people do know that access to safe drinking water is a problem, particularly in developing countries, and that water can carry certain diseases, for example, cholera and hepatitis, and that you might suffer symptoms such as diarrhea. And these are really serious problems in developing countries. But it isn't just developing countries that need to think about how they're going to make sure they've got safe drinking water. Even in countries such as the UK, we still need to think about how we're going to remove heavy metals such as lead and mercury from our water supply. These can be really damaging for our health. We have issues with chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. So we're using those on the farmlands and they're washing off into our water supplies. So there are still things that we need to do to our water to make it safe to drink. Because there are different issues with water in different countries, it means that there isn't one way of treating water that works everywhere. It's going to depend what's in the water, and that will determine the solutions that you might use to make sure that that water is safe to drink. This slide shows just a few of the methods that we might use to help us to obtain potable water. So distillation and boiling can help us to obtain pure water. We can add chemicals such as iodine or chlorine to water, and that can kill viruses and bacteria. And finally, you might have a water filter in your house, and that can also remove bacteria, but also chemicals, and can make the water have a nicer taste. You will need to do your own research on different methods of water treatment, and that's going to depend on what type of water you decide you want to look at and how you want to go about solving that problem. We've put together for you on this slide just a few links to get you started on this, but remember you are going to be graded on creativity, content, and effort, so you need to put some time in yourself to find information out about the different types of water treatment that you might want to look at. The next 3 slides contain a lot of video links which might be useful and helpful for you to look at to research the different ways of treating water. So the first slide gives you some ideas of how water is treated on a very large scale. So some of the methods that governments might use when they're trying to supply water to very large numbers of people. Second slide looks at water treatment in the wild. So how might you purify water if you need to drink it and you don't have access to the same kinds of technology or the same amount of money as the governments do, and you only need to provide a small amount of safe water just for yourself. And then the third slide looks at how you might go about purifying water in your own home. And there's a fantastic video on that slide which has been prepared by Mr. Smithson, and he's done an example for you of how he's preparing a water filter to remove solid objects from water that he's found in his garden. So do watch that, it might give you some ideas for the kinds of things you might do for your project.
Are you bored during lockdown? Are you wondering what to do with your time? Have you been thinking about these age-old questions like, how does water purification work? I wonder how this jug filters water. Well, today we're going to make our own water filter system. You will need a drinks bottle. Here's one I prepared earlier. I've removed the label, and using scissors I have removed the bottom, which is now the top. You will now need a piece of kitchen paper. Take the kitchen paper and stuff it into the bottle, being careful not to cut yourself. Now take some charcoal. I have some charcoal here from my barbecue that I stupidly left out overnight. So it's all squishy and disgusting. Take the disgusting, horrible black charcoal and crush it into lots of little bits. Oh, yeah. Then take the charcoal and place it into your bottle. Then take a layer of sand. Let me just wash my hands. Here I have some play sand. Here we are, a layer of play sand. As you can see, it's lovely and green. Let's squish it down. And then on top, take some fine gravel and make a layer on top of the play sand so that any water you pour in does not move all the sand out of the way. Okay. We're now ready to filter our water. So what water have we got? Well, I thought we would start by showing you how disgusting some water out of my garden is. There we are. Let's give it a bit of a mix. Yuck. Horrible, disgusting water. Yeah. Hardly tasty. There we are. We're now going to filter our disgusting dirty water. So you will need a container to filter it into. And here we have a container. So now is the time to unscrew the top, now the bottom of the bottle, and to pour the water through the filter at the top, holding it very carefully. Yeah, lots of disgusting water. And now we wait, and we wait for all of the water to start to trickle through. Ooh! And here we have water that's a lot cleaner than it went in. Please don't attempt to drink this water. It might be cleaner, but will still contain microorganisms that will make you very sick.
Now you've done all your research, you should be ready to start designing your system. The design process should help you to make sure that your system's actually going to work and to spot any problems before you actually build it. You might decide that you want to include a diagram as part of your design, and there are some ideas on this slide to help you to make sure that if you're drawing a diagram, it's as effective as it can be to help you with your project. You might also decide that you'd like to write a method to help you with your design. Remember, if you're writing a method, it's really helpful to use numbered steps to make sure that you get everything into the right order. The next part of your task is to demonstrate your system working. You do not have to do a video for this. You might choose instead to use photos with a description. You could choose to do a cartoon. You might even decide you'd rather do some creative writing and fully describe in detail how your system works. However you decide to do it, remember that you will be graded on creativity, content, and effort. The final part of your task is to evaluate your method. You might choose to write this, or again, you could choose to record yourself talking about your method. Don't forget to include what went well and what you might improve if you were to do it again. There are some ideas on this slide of the kinds of things you might want to say in your evaluation. We've already looked at some of the ways that you might choose to present this project. It really does lend itself to video presentations and creating models, but it's completely up to you to choose how you want to do it. You might decide you'd rather do a poster or write an essay about your design. Whichever way you choose to do it, please remember you're going to be graded on creativity, content, and effort. So choose the way that works best for you, that you think is going to get you the best marks in those categories.
Welcome to the Summer Homework Projects Year 10. There are two incredibly exciting projects awaiting your attention. The first being the STEM project, and this includes questions related to science, technology, engineering and mathematics. The other project is linked to Martin Luther King Jr. You will be wondering how your projects will be marked. So in September, form tutors will mark each project based on the following criteria: effort, content and creativity. They will award a grade 1 to 4 in each category, with 1 being outstanding. Just want to give you a few top tips on how you can achieve an outstanding grading in each of these. It's really important that as part of your research that you do for each of these projects, that you show that you have gone above and beyond. Present your work in a creative and unique way to catch the attention of your audience, and think about the content that you include within each project. It's really important that the content that you include answers the question that has been set to you. For every grade 1 you achieve, your name will be entered into a prize draw. There's a separate prize draw for each category: effort, content and creativity. And if you get a grade 1 in all three, you will have the chance to enter a fourth prize draw. To one of the most exciting parts of the project, which is the reward system. Now, for completing each project, you will receive 25 credits from your form tutor. You will receive 25 credits for completing a STEM project, and then an additional 25 credits for completing the project on Martin Luther King Jr. In total, there is an opportunity here for you to achieve 50 credits by September, which is equivalent to a bronze certificate. Of course, if you receive any grade 1s for effort, creativity, content, or across all three, there is a chance for you to be entered into a prize draw as well. In addition to the 50 credits, there's a fantastic opportunity here for you to win an Apple iPad. Now, there are 4 prize draws available to you depending on the grading you secure on effort, content and creativity. If your form tutor awards you with a grade 1 for any of the 3 categories, your name will be entered into the prize draw for these. Additionally, if you achieve a grade 1 in effort, content and creativity, all 3 criteria, your name will be entered into a 4th prize draw as well, increasing your chances of winning an iPad. Both projects will be marked separately, therefore there is an opportunity here for your name to be entered 8 different times. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact your academy by the info@ email address. We are incredibly excited about these projects and cannot wait to see the work that you produce. And most importantly, we can't wait to welcome you back in September.